Hi and welcome back to my channel. Again, we're here with the Cornely FBN model. This is video number 6. Now we're going to start to do the conversion between 2 needle to a single needle. First, what you'll need to know is the direction of which your upper trim is coming off the bobbin. What you'll find on the top here, there is a cutout. Some of the machines have 2 or 3 cutouts that are long slotted ones. Do not worry about the center hole one. That is for when the needle bar needs a little more room to pop up through that area. So the one with the slot on it should actually be, when we come down here on this rod, the one with the larger cutout at the bottom. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that. I'll remove the thread. Hopefully you can see what I'm referring to. I'll use the hook knife as a tool to show you. So this area in the pipe should be cut out wide through here. The other side, when I flick this around, you'll see does not have the wide cutout. I'll use the hook knife just so you can see. It's got the slender cutout which is level all the way through. So we want our trim to go through the one with the white cutout. For this reason, this is the thread we're going to remove from the machine. Simply cut that off, remove that one. Now, what you'll need to do is identify which needle that is. As you know, we threaded this straight, so we unthread that needle right now. I will pull that thread all the way through, may need a little assistance until it has passed through the tension set, and pulled it out through the bottom of the machine, and I will trim that off. You can see here, I'm just using the hook knife to trim that away. We're going to leave the other side threaded, which will become our single needle thread, but we do need to remove it from this point. For that reason, I am also going to cut it off down at the bottom, but I am going to leave some thread here in the middle to thread it back through later, so I don't need to rethread this entire system. Please keep that out of the way, and remember, do not start swinging your handle around too much because it will get entangled in these gears. Now we come down to the bottom near the needle area. What you'll find when you have your handle at the back, which is referred to 12 o'clock, is the 2 needles are visible. You will need to pull down on the handle and run the flywheel manually until the machine engages, and what we're looking for is the screw which will appear in this upper area. As I keep rotating, you'll see it there. This is the screw which is actually holding our needle holder, which is a separate attachment that looks like this. This comes in a variety of sizes in terms of having 1 needle, 2 needle, set at different gauges. 2.5 is the most common for the 2 needle setup, and of course the single needle is also popular. Unfortunately, it's not as simple as taking out 1 needle from here and saying I have set up the 1 needle machine, because these 2 needles which are currently in the machine are not in the center. They are slightly off center, so that the gap between the 2 needles is actually center. So to remove this, we can see that screw there, but first we need to remove this support, which is not found on many of the machines. These parts have been lost and are virtually impossible to replace once lost. This is a support to ensure that the guide doesn't start pushing with all the pressure of the motion of the foot and thread and trims. So this adds this extra support which presses up against your guide. For the reason of parts going missing, rolling off the table, etc., I keep a velvet jeweler's tray nearby when I'm changing parts off this machine. It would be wise to invest in a small jeweler's tray similar to this one. When you bring your handle around to 3 o'clock, you will see these 2, I'm not sure what to describe them as, almost like a nut as such, because there is a screw in between each one. You will need your pliers to loosen these up. They need to be on very firm in order for the guide to stay centered. These do wear out, but these are available when requested. It is a little time consuming. What I'm trying to do is avoid the pliers from slipping because that will remove the grip. We want to keep as much grip there as possible in order for these to last as long as possible. You have an upper and lower, and in between these two you'll find a tiny screw in the guide. This screw helps in as far as you can tighten that screw which is in the center. I'll show you that close up in a minute, in order to tilt these almost like a seesaw. So if your guide is not centering perfectly from left to right when you have your handle at the front, you can actually move that, adjust that, manipulate that, so to speak, to become further left or right by creating a seesaw action between these two nuts. You'll need to have your machine deactivated and the guide up. These are a nice tight fit. Again, perfect engineering from Cornely in France. Everything fits very firmly. See it easing off there. So you'll see mentioned in there 250. This means 2.5 millimeter gap between the two needle points. And as I was mentioning earlier, there's a screw here in the center. As you screw this further in, it will create a bubble ridge in the center, which then gives you the pivoting point to adjust one tighter or the other tighter when you're fitting this on the machine, in case your needles are not perfectly centered inside the guide. This exists on all of the guides. You'll see here again the same, and again the same.